everyone, another video on principles for you, and today we're talking about strength. Now, there seems to be a bit of a mix-up between strength and power, and people don't necessarily understand why they are actually completely different because the movements that we do to improve both are coincided so tightly. So this video is about strength. The power video that you will see in the library will explain the other side of things and why they are a bit different. Now, obviously these videos are being put forward amidst the coronavirus, so we are locked in, and so as much as these principles stand, there will be a bit of carryover into why this is important to know now as well. So, getting into the video. Strength principle, the law. Strength is determined by the maximum weight you can lift. Now that is where it differs from power, because power is the amount of force you can put into the object that you can lift. So to put it into principle, strength would be being able to lift 100 kilos. Power is how quickly and how much force you can put into lifting that 100 kilos. So if myself and somebody else were to both lift the same weight, we are of equal strength. But if I can move it quicker than that other person, I am more powerful. Okay, so that's where you may find with your friends that you can rep the same weight, but that other person can do it quicker than you can. They can generate more force, therefore they're more powerful. If you both top out at the same weight, you're of equal strength, but you may not be of equal power. And the other video will explain a little bit more of that. Okay, so key point. Just because you are big does not mean you are strong, but being big allows for the most potential to be strong. Now, this comes down to muscle fibers, muscle density, and such like. So the larger an object is, the more potential it has to bear load or to shift load, okay? So it's like a small digger can only pick up so much, whereas a larger digger or a crane can pick up much more because it is larger. It has the ability to carry more force, therefore it is stronger. So in the beginning, just because you are large does not mean that you're going to be stronger than a smaller person. But if you train at the same rate and intensity for the same duration, a larger person will have the ability to lift more weight in the long run because they have more muscle fibers to recruit, to put into the actual movement. Again, this does rely on muscle mass as well. Just being fat or big, should I say, does not count because fat is not contractile tissue. It does not put anything into the mix. So just gaining weight will help you counterbalance to a degree on certain movements, but it's not going to help you get stronger because the fat doesn't do anything. It doesn't contract. It doesn't aid to the movement. Okay. Remember, strength takes time and cannot be rushed. It also puts a tremendous amount of strain on joints and ligaments, okay? This is probably the best thing for a lot of strength training guys right now, even though they won't feel it, is to actually take some time away from strength training. It's going to give your body time to recover, okay? I am already starting to see a bit of a benefit from not loading myself all the time and doing lower rate, high repetition work. It's getting the muscles moving with not as much impact, okay? So, unfortunately, at the moment, so as we're going to put into the next point, muscle retention, dynamic training are the best ways to offset the strength loss. At the moment, because you cannot continue to lift heavy weights, your ability to maintain strength is going to drop slightly. Okay? You're not going to become incredibly weak. Muscle memory is a wonderful thing, and if you train for strength regularly, you're not going to see that much of a drop-off when you come back, although there will be some drop-off. You still have to understand that your body's adapting to new stimulus, which requires higher volume and less weight. Now, as with the time under tension, muscle building principle video and the power principle video that have gone up, if we are using that dynamic training and muscle retention exercises and methods and principles, we can offset the amount of power, strength we're going to lose. Because if you're still working towards power and you're still working to try and maintain as much muscle mass as possible, you're going to come back with the tools to continue with your strength training. Now, I was on a strength training plan at this point. I've taken some time off. I will come back, see where I'm at, and I will rebuild from there. That is all we can do right now, so don't worry about it too much, okay? There is no point trying to swim against the flow if you don't need to, and you can just come back to it later on. Okay, so we'll do a quick recap. The law, strength is determined by the maximum weight you can lift. The heaviest thing you can lift determines your strength right now. Just being big doesn't mean you're strong. Okay, training, stimulus, muscle mass, muscle density, these things determine how strong you are. Okay, and it comes from time and training and being careful. Remember, strength training is going to take a toll on your body. You are putting a lot of force through something that isn't used to moving objects with this kind of weight behind them. It is a slow, methodical process. You do not rush this. If you try and rush strength training, you are going to hurt yourself. This is what happens to a lot of younger guys and girls because their bodies can bounce back very quickly. They tend to rush it. Now, again, you're trying to play with fire here because at some point that is not going to happen. For those of us that are a bit older, have been training for longer, we realise that we may need to take an extra rest day. We may need to back off. We may need to deviate from lifting heavy every time because our bodies are telling us to do so. Okay, so do remember, if you decide after this that strength training is something you want to get into or you're returning to, your joints and ligaments and tendons and your central nervous system have had a break. You are not going to come out the gate smashing that stuff straight away. You need to get your body used to doing it again. Okay? And again, to finally recap, muscle retention and dynamic power training movements, which are in the other video, are going to be what you need to use to maintain as much strength as possible coming back in. Okay? If you just leave this and don't do your training smart, you're going to lose things off. So the principle of strength training is basically lifting the heaviest object you can. It doesn't matter how you lift it per se. It can be broken, it can be hitched, it can be grinded up, but that's your maximum level of strength. Okay, that is the difference between strong men and power lifters. A strong man can pick the heaviest object up. It may look a bit ugly, it may be a bit broken, it may take them longer than usual. A power lifter cannot lift as much, but they lift it better because that's what they're being judged on. Their ability to move an object in one smooth continuous motion, and that is the object of power. Okay, so when you're strength training and you're trying to overload progressively, what we're trying to do is put stimulus into the body to become stronger. We're putting a maximal load or near maximal load on the body, telling our body we need to lift this, and then the body has to go away and decide how it's going to do that. Now, strength training will also cause a little bit of a drop in muscle mass sometimes. To a certain point, there is a bit of a negative payoff. As your strength increases, your muscle mass may drop because you don't actually need as much muscle to be strong. You need better quality muscle. So you may find that you lose some size, gain some density, and then you can start rebuilding again. Okay? Stay safe, guys, during the coronavirus, okay? This is one that a lot of people are going to worry about. It's just one of those things you're going to have to ride it out, okay? The other principles are more important than this one. This is just to tell you exactly what strength is. It's determined by what you can lift and to give you an idea of what we need to work on. So check the other videos out. Take some ideas from it. If you need any help programming-wise, let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.